My friend,
My friend.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
I ditched the computer. Forget about it.
Yeah, man, it's much better.
Oh, good. All right,
Yeah.
man. So here we are, round
Mhm.
two of the
Round
artist
two.
who led the Knicks. Baldwin
Yes,
here,
we love.
Paul to Carroll there.
Peace.
What's up, homie?
Hey, man. I I'm excited about our Knicks. I'm excited to be an artist who's in total appreciation of our New York squad.
Yes, sir.
And this being our second attempt at this what do you call it? Creators of content.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I let a couple people see what we were doing, and they were really excited to see where we would go with it. So we're just figuring it out, and I'm really happy about that, man. I really
You
am.
know, this is a direct byproduct of being stuck at home for 2.5 years.
Is that what it is? Is that what this is?
It was better than looking at the four walls all day and saying, what the hell is going on out in the world?
What is
Should I
this?
take should I not take the shot? We can just
Yes,
go through all kinds of stuff. And then everybody comes out of the thing and everybody's like half crazy,
yes, including us.
including us.
Including us, man.
That's
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is of our insanity by
yeah,
creating, such a platform. And
yeah.
you had mentioned CP the franchise and some of the other guys who also had similar thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. I think a few of them got started just prior to the shutdown, but my introduction to them was definitely during the shutdown.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I know when they were in the bubble, and I was just okay. Here we go, being stuck in the house, and it's like, okay, the game is over. I still wanted more, and I just started searching the internet, and I was like, whoa, man! I think it was Knicks Film School was the first one I ran into. Jonathan Macri.
Okay,
He
okay,
was the
okay.
first one. I
Okay.
really enjoyed that. And then
Uh-huh.
somehow I must have hit some other button and I ran into CP the franchise. And I said, wow, this is really clever, man. These guys have done such a great job, both of them. And then to find out that they talk to each other, they're all cool with each other.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. It's like a community. And I don't know, subconsciously, maybe I felt like, wow, I would hear Chuck D call into the shows. And there were a couple of the shows I looked at. I love this new one that just popped up, Real Talk, it's Cat in
Hmm.
Harlem.
Okay.
Yeah, Real Talk with Nick. And I'm like, hey, this is the real. So I said, wow, when you and I were talking one day, I think you mentioned, you said, man, we ought to just do this,
Yeah, man.
and come from an artist angle,
Yep.
because there's so many artists that we see at the games and that we talk to and all of that. So here we go.
Exactly. And this is kind of a direct correlation between how players on a team try to work together as teammates, and then we can correlate that to what we do as writers and collaborators in our field.
Yeah.
Like you and I, for instance, we sit together, we put together a plan, say, hey man, let's get down, write some tunes, finish them, which is the most important thing, and then disperse to other artists and see if they dig what we do,
Right. And just for the audience, I mean, probably the biggest ones we work with Grover Washington.
That was fun, man.
Yeah.
And
Huge, man.
Levi Stubbs singing.
Levi Stubbs, yeah, from the Four Tops. That was huge, man. When I came through, it's like, what? From one of our tunes. And that tune that we wrote was originally for Taj Mahal.
I remember that.
Yeah, we wrote it for Taj.
Wow, man.
But it somehow got into, I guess, through my publishers, at the time at CBS, they got it to Grover. Or did you get it to Grover?
I got it to Grover because I had done something for him the year before, but I met Grover through a contact through Roberta Flack. Through Atlantic Jazz, which all came from the Sony Innovators Award in 1988.
See, we didn't mention that on the first episode.
Yeah. All of that kind of led to that, and preceding that. Okay, so let's roll back for a minute. 1986, I'm opening up for Tom Brown at the Bottom Line.
Yeah.
Me, wow. Freddie V, and Crab was singing.
Yeah.
And so I stayed in contact with Tom. Tom was real still hot with funkin', but he was getting tired of the whole secular thing, so he got saved and started going to gospel.
Oh, okay.
Tom and I did a gospel jazz record back in 1987 called No Longer I, which was like 10 years earlier before, Kirk jumping in really, took gospel jazz to a new level.
Yeah.
But Danny Weiss was the executive producer of that. And we did 3 records together. And of course, now Danny, for those who don't know, is the one who put Shawnee Records on the map.
Right. I've only met him once, but yeah.
As the direct result of those projects, we were all on Malaco Jazz which is based in Mississippi. It was me, Tom Brown, and Bobby Humphrey. Yeah. And all of our records started getting hot in the Northeast. And these jokers down it was mostly a gospel blues label. You could not find a record north of Washington, D.C., bro.
Oh,
that killed the whole scene, man.
Oh, gosh. Oh, God.
We were hot, man, because I was in New York. Pat Prescott was killing me on CD 101. She was wearing
I remember that.
You know?
Yeah.
But, man, you could not find. I would go to Barnes & Noble, it was open to Borders. What was the one down in the city, the big one? Tower Records. Couldn't find it. This goes Tower.
Oh, man, I didn't know you were going through that. And all that led to Grover.
All that led to the Sony Innovators Award in Atlantic Jazz, Roberta Flack, Grover, then till you return to me.
And the Taj Mahal tune that didn't work, but it worked for Grover. So that's the way this whole thing works. And it sounds very similar to how they put teams together in the league.
Sure.
It's like you try out guys at this particular team or that particular team. It's like great player, but bad fit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's sort of like the way that we operate. It's like everybody's great at what they do at fortunately at the level we've been operating on for a number of years. It's just a matter of finding the right fit, which leads us right into Jalen Brunson, and then Josh Hart, Hartenstein, these guys that just like, are they really the thing? They were kind of finding their way in other places, but when they got here, they flourished because it was the right fit. And, so which brings us into all of this, the whole COVID thing. What are we going to do with our time? We can't play out anywhere. We're just looking around for things. We see these guys who are it's all about creativity. So all these people are artists, because I always call athletes artists, always. They're high level performance artists.
Yeah.
So at all this, I like to think, I don't think it's a stretch to say that we're all interconnected, Right. So, I just wanted to ask you, man, how did you feel about this weekend, man, with the 2 games?
Well, I felt good, man. I was sitting there looking at the stats earlier, because I'm a numbers guy.
Yep.
So there's 2 things that jump out from the first game, which clearly I thought was the game winner. Number one, the Knicks shot 7 for 34 from the three-point line, 20%. They were clanking left and right. So if they just hit like 3 more threes, that would have put them right in the middle of it. And then another thing, man, all year long they have been missing free throws like crazy. They missed 8 free throws.
It's a killer, man. All year they've just had this problem with this.
And then you add on top of that a little bit of slick coaching from Spoelstra, and the 3 Aaron Rodgers touchdowns by Kevin Love.
So Kevin Love was inspired by Aaron. Fair enough.
Yeah, those 3 things.
Yeah, but the next day, Hartenstein got inspired by Aaron Rodgers, and he started tossing them.
Did.
So
and Kevin Love had none of those in game 2. He was kind of a no-show.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess Tibbs has made some adjustments. The big takeaway I got was a big adjustment of putting Grimes back in.
Yeah.
And really, I think for the most part, I didn't, I'm not a numbers guy like you, but I think that he kind of neutralized or just took the edge off of Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, he did.
I think the Grimes insertion, right? And then obviously
a little taller,
he's a little taller and really, really quick and strong. And then obviously we have to give the flowers to Julius. And I have to say right up the top, I think I said in the last episode that Julius got to be hard to watch.
Yeah, man.
And I was curious to see what Obi would do in the starting role. And Obi was good in the first game, but Julius was better. in the
Yes,
second
he was.
game.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
So I've got to give it up to him, man. He was like, he was bringing it, you know, and I'm
25,
really happy for him.
25 points.
Yes.
And he had 12 rebounds and 8 assists, man. He almost had a triple double.
Almost, man. You can't argue with that, man.
And,
You know, Josh Hart almost had a triple double too. He was an assist shy.
Yes.
Of a triple double.
Hart he's become for me the heart and soul of the Knicks as far as like I told you, he's the Draymond Green of the East Coast without all the baggage.
But all that stuff, right? And now he's a pizza guy now, you know, because he's been eating pizza. And he's gonna get he ain't gonna never have to pay for another pizza again.
Hey man, if he wins anything in this city, pizza and drinks for free.
He's good.
In perpetuity.
In perpetuity, yes. So yeah, and I heard Alan Hahn talk about that the Heart and Heart Foundation, Hartenstein and Hart. You know, it's like they got a thing. So you know what I'm seeing out of this, and I think we touched on this earlier. You know, I think about the New York Giants, the 1986 Giants, but going back to '85, they were right there at the cusp of like, you know, we're gonna go to Chicago and we're gonna win this thing, but Chicago had the '85 Bears.
Oh yeah, forget it.
And we got stomped.
Right.
But it was from that I think I've heard it said that they learned what they had to do, how intense they had to be to go ahead and cross over and get this chip. And sure. I'm not saying that the Knicks are right on the cusp of getting a chip, but they are definitely making that first or second step, you know, to get in there. I think we touched on this before. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a run like Atlanta did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention was that, you know, in game one, our rotation was so far off. We had essentially 3 starters messed up. Yep. We had Julius was out, Grimes was out, and come to find out that Brunson was hurt. You know, he played, but it was like you could tell he wasn't right.
Right.
But by game 2, okay, Randall comes back in and Grimes kind of creeps back in. So I'm thinking by game 3, we should have our real starting lineup back, which puts our second unit back in place. And now let's begin, you know, and hope that Jimmy have a headache or something, you know. I don't want to be hurt, you know, just be a little off that day, you know.
JB is a joke.
He's
a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's off the charts. You can't stop him. You can't stop him.
Yeah, it's like, please, Jimmy. But wait a minute, man. He didn't have he hurt his ankle, right? He didn't have a boot on. He had on some like what are Birkenstock, what do they call it things, man? You know, like slippers. You know, he over there in slippers.
He's more worried about TV set anything, man.
I'm like, so wait a minute, is Jimmy you really hurt or you rested?
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know what I mean? He didn't act like a person who had a hurt hoof. You know, but we'll see. We'll see.
If he jumps at the gym on Saturday, straight up,
you don't know what's up.
Yeah, real quick, man. Yo, you a liar, bro.
Yeah, what you doing, man? But you know, the other thing is, you know, we are battling. You know, it's like new money. You know, like we're like nouveau riche, and the Heat are old money. Yeah. You know, they have an infrastructure and a culture in place that, to me, really showed up on Saturday because he had guys that, you know, from D2 schools and all of that, they were in there that really could have won that game quite easily if a call had gone, you know, maybe the win should have gone. You know, we got a little
and they lost the call with that ball hitting the rim.
Hitting the rim, and then the thing where, you know, did Hartenstein, you know, I don't know, you know, that
4-point play.
Yeah, so it's like, but that's because Spoelstra and you know the whole culture down there with the Heat, you know, had us on the run, and I'm sure that they'll continue, and they're battle tested. I mean, even though they come from these odd places, man, these guys are tough, man. They're not afraid of the bright lights, man. So I think we touched on this once before. I still have to give in my head. I still have to give the Heat a slight edge in all of this, but my heart says New York Knickerbockers for sure.
Of course,
you know, for sure. You know.
I think we're still being cursed by the Riley facts. 1995. Oh, by the way, what's today? Today's what, May
4th.
Okay, we're about 3 days away from the historic walked back out on the court by Willis Reed, 1970.
Really?
Yeah, it was game 6. When he walked back out.
Man,
Yeah.
he hit 2 shots and then Walt Frazier took it over from there.
Yes.
Well, drag that leg. God rest his soul, man. That was our guy.
Yeah.
Man, he dragged that leg out there and knocked down 2 jumpers, and it was all she wrote.
Man.
You know, Walt
Great
went crazy. Stuff. Yeah, man. It's we love our Knicks, don't we?
Hey, man. You remember back when you used to see the scoring on the screen? It looked like dot matrix. I was like, man, it's some. I go back and look at some of those tapes, and they're literally. It's like,
oh yeah,
everything a little jooky.
Oh yeah. We've come a long way.
Oh man, we come a long way, man. But I still think my brother Brunson, he is definitely the best point guard since Clyde thing. I think, man.
He's special, man. He is special. I got to give it to him, man. You know, again, to reiterate, you know, Mark was great, and Strickland was great, and Raymond Felton had his moments, and you know, but Brunson kind of has everybody. He's a little bit of everybody, you know. With to me, like, you know, with those Larry Johnson feet, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, he that guy can clear some space, man. I mean, and just fearless.
Yep.
Fearless.
Yep.
Yes,
and think about the fact that you look at him and Steph Curry. Both of them had their fathers precede them and kind of give them teach them the ropes of the NBA. And I think that plays a major role, especially when they're young. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's a big thing. You're growing up into the game. It's like it's the family business.
Yeah. I mean, you're going into the garden like, 5, 6, 7 years old, just hanging out in front of 19,000 people.
Right. Right. And that, you know, taking that edge off is the thing. And going back to where we are now with our team, you know, I think that there's a little bit of they're in a little bit of awe. They've never been in the second round before.
Right.
You know, so you got to give them a minute to get adjusted to it.
Yeah.
You know, yes, they play under the bright lights, but the second round is brand new.
Oh,
whereas it's not new for the Heat. And that's why I keep going back to the experience thing. You know, a Spoelstra thing. He's a champion. These guys are champions. Kyle Lowry is a champion.
2 years ago in the finals.
Yeah, Kevin Love is a champion.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, we're fighting that too, you know. Sure. So I like to think that overall, in the grand scheme of things, we are taking that really nice step, regardless of where the series ends up, because we're going to be in every game.
Yeah,
we're going to be in every game. Yeah. It's going to come down to that little thing, and we might not get there only. And I'm just saying, due to the lack of experience. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we just overtake him, because Jalen Brunson overcomes everything. He overcomes everything, you know.
And I think Randall, he plays. I think that's one of his best playoff games, because you remember 2 years ago when we were playing the Hawks, man, every other move he's going to the right and going right into the blender.
Right in the blender, yeah.
But he's kicking it out. He did have one straight Justin Verlander fastball that he almost took someone.
Yes, to Josh, but Josh was there. He was ready. Yeah.
He only had one. He's got better with that.
Yeah, man. But
just pass the ball, bro. Don't give me the 97-mile-an-hour joint.
He's saying, look, man, you gotta be ready, man. But hey, Magic Johnson would hit you in the head too if you weren't ready. You know,
that's true. But he didn't throw 97-mile-an-hour though.
No, you're about 85. Yeah.
He passed the ball.
Yeah.
Passed the ball.
But yeah, man. So, you know, we're having a little trouble getting Quick involved now. Do you think that with the rotation going back to, I'm assuming that Grimes is going to go back into the starting lineup, that now, you know, Hart will go to the second unit.
Yeah.
With the second unit, you have Hart, you have Quick, and then Obi.
You're right.
You know,
and Hartenstein.
And of course, Hartenstein. Hartenstein's going to be in. He's going to be in throughout. It's just like he's like 1A. You know,
yes.
he's got himself to that point. but I'm looking for Quick to wake up now. It's
Yeah,
about time. He's been a little like, I don't know what's deer in headlights or he's just out of sorts because, like I said, the rotations are off.
yeah, he's a little hesitant with his shot.
Yeah.
He's always trying to get a foul in the 3-pointers. So you should just go for the hoop, man.
Yeah. So maybe it's just a matter of just settling in. There's so much pressure on the Cats, man. Everybody said you make so much money, you shouldn't feel the pressure. They're human beings. They're gonna feel that pressure, man.
Absolutely.
You're gonna feel it.
Absolutely.
Again, especially with a new team like the Knicks are right now. Whereas the
Yeah.
Heat, they've been there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is who was it? I think Spoelstra said, yeah, man, for real basketball aficionados, this is a series. This is hardcore, gritty. I mean, you can't beat LeBron and Steph. Now, I'm not trying to say it's going to happen, but for just hardcore basketball,
yeah,
this is a series, man. It's only going to get better.
Yeah, and I think RJ. If RJ he gets a little questionable in the fourth quarter. I like the fact that he wasn't in on the fourth quarter, but the first 3 quarters he was phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything wrong. I think Tibbs just made this call like, man, I got to make sure this defensive thing is locked down. So I got to get Grimes up in here. I think that's what it was. I don't think RJ did anything wrong, especially last game.
I think you're right. RJ, he had 24 points and 3 rebounds and 3 assists. He had phenomenal game, 8 for 17.
Great game. Now it's about 4 games in a row that he's been bringing
5 for 9 for 3.
Woo! Yeah, man. I heard that his he got I don't know who his shooting coach is, but I hear they've been doing a lot of work and kind of move something to the inside and it's been money for the last 4 games.
I think if sometimes he's just a pinch late on his execution. I think if he just slide that up a little bit, a few milliseconds, and maybe not, telegraph what he's getting ready to do, and just kind of add a little quicker. I think he's right there being, an amazing player for the next 5-10 years for the Knicks, man.
Oh yeah, man. And he's a rock solid person, man. On top of that, rock solid family. His father played for St. John's, mom, ran track, I believe. So he's cut from that thing, yeah, man. And just for our audience, Bob played. He played. You played high school ball, right?
No, I played.
In high school?
No, I didn't play.
Just at middle school? I thought you did. Okay, all right.
No.
Yeah, man. But I know, but the way you talk about X's and O's, I said, my Bob played a little organized ball,
Yeah, I used to play, community ball and stuff. I remember one summer I had to play. I was working at supermarket, the finest supermarkets, and I put a cut in my hand. I had like 8 stitches in my hand.
Oh, and piano player's hand? Oh no!
Oh, on the right. It was on the right hand. And we were playing that summer, and I was all bandaged up. Yeah. And we were playing in this tournament, and the guy's like, "Don't mess with his hand. Don't mess with his hand. He cut his hand." I think I scored like 20 points that night. He was like, "Yeah, don't touch the hand.
Don't touch the hand.
Please don't touch the hand."
Yeah, get the edge where you can.
Yeah, but that's the passion, that I have for the game, though, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when where I come from, I went to Woodland High School, man. We had great teams all the time, man. I grew up with a lot of ball players, and just myself. I was done by the time junior high school came, but I did win two championships in the dad's club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to the Celtics.
I'm a Mount Vernon High, but I was born in Mount Vernon. Every year stupid teams, man. Girl teams, Gray Brothers, those boys, Gus and Ray.
Gus and Ray, man. Just ridiculous, man.
A lot of talent coming out of that little city.
Yeah, a lot of talent.
Yeah, man.
Starting with Dick Clark. Dick Clark and Denzel.
Ralph Branker.
Yeah, Ralph Branker. Yeah, so it's just crazy. But so we grew up around, just again for anybody who's watching, we grew up around all these guys. I mean, and then seeing the Knicks around town, man. Living in White Plains, Charles Oakley used to live here, had a place here, and man, he had a car wash
in
here.
White Plains or Greenberg?
right in White Plains. Right
Nice.
in White Plains. I used to see, the late Anthony Mason used to be around, or
Wow.
see his mom around.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
man. It was. I remember Lenny Wilkins had a place when he was a coach. His place was right down the street from me.
Nice.
Yeah, all this kind of stuff, man. David Stern, I used to see in the movie theaters, man.
You
I'd see
told
him,
me that.
yeah, man. I just one time, man, they were players were on strike, and I just happened to see him coming out with his family, man. I just walked by him. I didn't say a lot. I just said, Dave, I need my MBA. He said, coming at you, baby. Okay, just kept walking. It was great, man. It was funny. And then I ran into him again, and we were on the road in Utah when I was with Hall and Oates.
Oh,
And yeah, we were prepping for a gig, and I happened to see Dave in the in the lobby of the hotel. And he starts, I asked him I said, man, you're in Harrison, right? He said, no, I'm in Scarsdale. I said, oh, I'm right down the street. Said, White Plains. He said, oh, great. So it was cool. He was really, really nice. And he said, yeah, man, we out here, how about Donovan? Because Donovan Mitchell was just starting to blow
that's
up.
right.
And Donovan's from Elmsford, which is right, right there, man.
Wow,
my sister is very good friends with his mom, the whole bit,
oh,
so it's this whole connection with pro ball. And
they could
everything,
use him
so.
right now.
Now,
But not at the cost of trading away nine guys on the team.
yeah, I think they wanted 3 or 4 first round picks.
Oh yeah, and 3 players.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of conflicting stories. I heard they wanted Mitch. I heard they wanted Grimes, and they wanted RJ.
Yeah, man.
And 3 or 4 picks. I mean, you can't.
I know.
As much as I wanted Donovan, man, I'm hurt, and I felt bad for him that they. Well, I'm glad we won, but
yeah.
But yeah, just because of the family connection. I don't know Donovan, but
Sure.
my family members know him and speak so highly of him, man. And I just felt bad, for him. I said he's got to be saying, man, I'm supposed to be on the Knicks, man.
Yeah,
he's got to be saying that.
I'm supposed to still be playing right now.
I'm supposed to be playing. I'm supposed to be on the Knicks, man. I'm from right up the street, man. So
man.
Yeah, so
he's a good kid.
Man.
Good kid.
He's a good one. He's a great one, and he does a lot of great things in the community already. I know some other people that know some of the things he's done, in Children's Village and a couple other places, that he's really he's doing the right thing.
Right.
But yeah,
Speaking
man.
Of community, Speaking of community, you're from a legendary part of Westchester County, Greenburgh. Where a lot of folks, famous folks have lived up there. I remember my dad, who was a, rest in peace, photographer, part-time. He used to have the big Hasselblad camera that costed a fifth of the value of the home that he lived in.
That's right.
I know he pulled it. But he used to go up there and watch Gordon Parks shoot.
Oh yeah.
Then Gordon lived up that area, right?
Gordon lived right down the street from my wife, because right in this little block there was Gordon Parks, there was Mom's Mabley, and Laverne Baker.
What?
The R&B singer. Yeah, they all live like right in this one. I mean, like in 2 blocks, like right up the street from where I am right now.
That's crazy.
And then I could walk to Roy Campanella's house.
Right.
And Cap Galloway lived straight up. He lived less than a mile from me.
Sure.
And
then Hugh lived there for a while.
Hugh Masekela used to be in town all the time. He used to play at a little club up here, and he spent a lot of time here.
Right.
A lot of time. One day we'll go into all the stories about all of that, because the whole Atlantic Starr thing was discovered by someone who was managing Hugh Masekela for a while.
What's his name?
Yeah. A guy named Dennis Armstead.
Okay.
And Dennis, we met. Well, okay, I'll go into it. At Atlantic Starr, before we changed our name, we were a new band, and we rehearsed in Cab Calloway's house a few times. And then his youngest daughter, said, "Hey, she would like to manage us." And she never managed it. She was the same age as us. But here's what she did. She brought us it was a Sunday afternoon. She took us, to this beautiful house in Pleasantville, New York, which is about 6 miles from where I am right now. And where do we land up? Sidney Poitier's house.
Who? Oh, wow.
Sidney Poitier. He had a home there. And we set up on his back patio and played out there. And who walked on all the white linen, the whole bit. And it was
Uh,
Dennis Armstead who was working with Hugh Masekela at the time, because he was doing this thing called Hugh Masekela and the Union of South Africa.
yes, yes.
It was great.
Is that
And
mid
who was
60s?
backing it? This is early 70s. This is like
Okay.
72, 71, 72.
Yeah, because apartheid kicked in 65 and he got out of there. So,
He got out,
New
yeah,
York.
and
Yeah,
Mary McCabe and
yeah,
all, they all got out.
yeah.
So we
True.
were all, we were touching on all that. But anyway, we had a little association with that, and
That's
it
cool.
was exciting, So yeah, so this area is just rich with
Yeah.
talent, and I always say it set the bar so high. It's like,
Oh,
what are we gonna do? What am I gonna do? You gotta do something, you know,
yeah.
you know.
Well, you
Uh,
did something. You created you co-created one of the greatest band in Westchester County. So that's
well, I like to think we made a little. We weren't twiddling our thumbs. I've resorted to that. I said we were trying to do something,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, Hey, going back to Gordon Parks, and what people don't know. I don't know how much time they spent here, but in this particular house in Greenburgh, I think about it. It's like, wait a minute, Gordon Parks wrote Shaft, and his son wrote Superfly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I'm saying that was in that house right down the street from where we are.
What was his son's name?
Gordon Jr.
Oh,
Yeah. So all of this was right in the area. So whether you saw them or not, the vapors, it was all vibes. There was just stuff around on the artistic side, that was crazy. And then we had all these athletes coming around, it's like, wait a minute. Well, who's your team going to be? It's going to be the Knicks,
of course.
So here we go with that again, So it's been exciting.
Westchester has been a fun place to grow up in, man. And yeah. I just hate when they call Westchester County upstate New York. We gotta change.
Yeah,
that.
right. Especially lower Westchester.
It'd be like, yeah, Mount Vernon, that's upstate New York. No, it's not. It's right on top of the Bronx. Big old. That.
Well, Walt Frazier says anything above the Bronx is upstate.
Is that what he said? What does he know with his suits?
Hey, you Walt Frazier, man.
That's my man.
Yeah, so that's all God, man. But yeah. I mean, the thing is the access from Westchester into Manhattan. We got a zillion ways you can get into Manhattan from Westchester. I think that's why it's so.
On the commuter train.
I'm sorry.
I've seen Adam Silver on the commuter train.
Oh yeah. Okay, you see him?
Yeah.
All those guys, man. I said, Bert Sugar, the boxing guy. I used to take a train with him, man.
Right.
A good friend is Biff Henderson, man, from the David Letterman show. I see Biff all the time at CBS. It's like it's so many people around. It's like it's a great place to be, man. And and then the Knicks wound up coming right here and then setting up their facility right here. So
they're in Tarrytown.
Yes, they're in Tarrytown.
But they used to be in Purchase. Yeah. They were in Greenburgh for a while, right?
Mm-hmm. They were in Purchase, I think, in Manhattanville for a minute.
Manhattan. Okay.
Yeah, I think they were there, and then it was Tarrytown. But yeah, man. So what do you think for Game 3?
Well, I think if the Knicks do exactly what they did with the roster in the fourth quarter, Game 2, with Hartenstein, of course, Brunson, Robinson, and there's fifth
and Grimes.
Yeah, great defense, and they got just enough to when they get a rebound, they can push it out. I think if they keep that in the fourth quarter, especially if they have the lead in the third, I think they should be able to pull it off. But I think Randall and RJ in the first quarter, if they get hot like they normally do, and Brunson holding the fort in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Just don't get sloppy in the second and third quarter, and stop those long distance passes.
Yeah.
That dude Gabe Vincent is nice though, man.
Oh God, man.
He was. I mean, he got jacked. And
yes.
2 threes in a row. I was like, dude.
Yes, man, and he's always like that. It's not an aberration. This guy's always like that.
He did it against Milwaukee in the series. He had one.
Yeah.
I was like,
you're like, whoa, man, who is this guy?
Yeah.
But that's their player development. Their scouting and their player development is off the charts down there, man. And that's what scares me about this series, because I think on paper the Knicks are better. I think.
Right.
I
Right.
think. But it's that little edge that they have with
That
the
Riley
development.
culture.
That's what has me scared. I don't want to go back. I'm not scared, but I'm concerned. It's like we have to really
Don't be
watch that.
scared, man.
But
Be scared.
no, don't be scared. I won't be scared. But I want to go back to when you said the ending lineup. Say the last 5-minute lineup that you
Sure.
think that they should resort to. You mentioned Hartenstein instead of Mitchie.
Oh, it was.
What's up with that, man?
Well, I mean, the guy makes $18 zillion a year and he can't hit a foul shot. They're gonna do that.
So
They're gonna do that.
oh,
They're gonna do that to Mitch if they're not.
Hacker Mitch.
And man, he is a rim dinner. That thing is just Keelek.
Okay, all right.
Get the
That's
wrench.
big time, man. That's crazy, man. But that's big time, man. You're gonna see, boy. I mean, I'm just looking like, man, is Hartenstein gonna be on the floor in the last 2 minutes? Woo!
I think he should. Either one is fine by me. I think Hartenstein gives you a little more intellectuality. He's just gonna beast you, which is not bad. I mean, you need him out there blocking shots. I'll take either one. One. And with Randall in there with some muscle, and Brunson, cool, calm, collect, like you said, the assassin, man. He is quite the maestro for the Knicks right now, for the next 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. If his health holds up, he should be fine.
Yes.
And then just touching on something else a little on the abstract side is all the New Yorkers in Miami. They're gonna
have one of these. They're gonna sip it up. They're gonna sip it up a little bit. Get a little Miami.
Well, oh my God, you threw me off. Your New York people they're gonna act up down in Miami.
They're gonna show up.
They're gonna show up. That's gonna be
because they really showed up on the last game they played.
The last
one when Homeboy hit that crazy 3-pointer.
Yeah, the walk off. Right?
Yeah.
Jules hit that one. Yeah, it was like, whoa, okay. Speaking of, another thing about the crowd, the New York crowd, we were boasting so much about the Mecca and all that, and I've heard it, I felt it, I could hear it, I could feel it. Game 1, our folks didn't show up for game 1 in the Garden.
True.
I was shocked. Remember we were talking about, man, game with that ticket. I thought it was going to be bananas, and that wasn't. Game 2 was better. It was better, but it's still not quite. It's almost like the crowd ain't sure.
I know.
Ain't sure.
Pitch me.
Yeah. It's like we better go down there and get at least one, and then I would imagine Game 5 in New York will be bananas.
Game 5 is gonna be nuts, and if they win, Game 5 is gonna be ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. So
might be.
So yeah, man. Yeah.
So one last thing, Boston.
Yes, Boston or Philly?
Yeah.
Wow, they brought Embiid last night after winning his big chip, that beautiful award that he won, and they just went right in the tank. I didn't see the game, so I really don't have any comment on the game itself, but there is something missing in Boston.
Yeah. Oh, in Boston, really?
I think so. There's something like an intangible. Really? That's not quite I don't know whether it's this young coach. I don't know whether there's something missing in the middle, like their center. I'm not sure. But it just seems like this little thing is keeping them from going to the next level. That's my concern about Boston. Having said that, I think they're gonna take Philly out. I do.
Yeah, if Harden is not consistent, I don't think Philly has a chance.
Right.
And he has a history of not being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Game 7, Houston Golden State, when he just like laid an egg years back,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think Boston still has enough, which means the Knicks, they could, if they can get past the Knicks Boston series, it would be pretty sweet, bro.
Would they have a better chance? Yeah, so so we want Philly to win it, and then we want the Knicks to win, because the Knicks have a better chance against Philly than they would against Boston.
Yeah. Well, Wow.
Yeah, Embiid in there, man. Well, we do have two centers, but that can give up
Embiid, he's got
12
great
fouls. Yeah,
a lot of
so it's a lot, man. It's interesting, man. So that one's hanging in a balance. So to answer your question, I think Boston's going to win that series in a close one. So what? Okay, and the marquee. What about the marquee matchup out on the West Coast? What you got? You got LeBron. You got Steph.
I keep going back and forth, man. I can't lose with either one of them. I mean, if
that's for sure.
Either one of them go all the way and get 5, that's gonna be Titanic right there, man. Epic.
Monumental.
LeBron wins 5 in 3 cities. That's pretty special, man. I don't care how many he lost getting 5. I mean, he was when he had like an 8-year run, he was in the finals like every year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And LeBron was taking like JV squads to the finals.
Right.
I know the NBA players. I don't mean it like that, but these were not star players.
Correct.
And he was getting there, and he wasn't winning because he didn't have, he didn't have Kyrie. He didn't have Dwayne. He needed, he didn't have that the Robin, so to speak, until he got down to South Beach. And so I guess what I'm getting at is I get a little annoyed when they said, well, he lost so many. But wait a minute, he shouldn't have been there anyway.
Come on,
you know what I mean? He didn't have the talent to get. He dragged his talent.
Don't bring him down for bringing a bunch of slumps.
Exactly. Yeah, I could see if if it was Dwayne and Chris Bosh and all that, and they losing 7 of them or what. Right. That's different. Like okay, Scott. We all know that until Scotty got to Michael, he didn't even get there for 7 years. Didn't even get there.
Yeah, you can't do it yourself.
You can't. So
that being said, Curry's such a nice man, and to see him get 5, a young, short guy, he's not overly, muscular, but man, listen, he is conditioned. His dad trained him well, coming up, and we failed to mention that the Knicks were like 1 loss away from getting Curry in the draft.
Yes.
Just missed it. They beat somebody by like a point or something. I'm like, wow, I don't win.
Is that what happened? Was that what it
was? Supposed to lose.
It was supposed to lose. It was 1 game?
Maybe 2, but definitely, 1 game. They were right there, and they could have had Curry, and man, that would have taken the franchise to another level.
Without a doubt, overnight, right?
Curry,
and stories I've heard that he could have got Bird. They blew that deal. They have a poor presentation to LeBron. It's like one thing after another. They let Bernard get away. It's like, man, what is going on here? Yeah. But I have to say, whoever's responsible for bringing in this team, this new front office, whoever did it, it was Dolan. You got to give him props. Yeah. And I would imagine it's him. So I know he gets bashed all the time, and they believe me, there are things that I do not care for that he's done. However, with that front office, Worldwide West, and keeping Curry, and what's the other one?
Leon Rose.
Leon Rose. Hey man, they've done their thing.
They got it going on, man. I gotta give them their props. In the 3 years they've been here, they've been smoking.
And it seems like Dolan has stayed out of the way. I haven't seen them.
Right.
At the games and everything. So, it looks like they have a brain trust that's they're allowing to flourish. Mm-hmm. And I'm very interested to see what happens in the off season.
Sure.
I heard this rumor about Giannis. I heard about Giannis. Yeah, I think Budenholzer said something about Giannis may be interested in playing in a big city.
Fear the deer, baby.
Fear the deer. He might be coming to the way. There's a lot of deer over here.
Don't even get me excited, man.
We can't do it. But again, it was just a rumor, But other than that, I would love to see our squad stay pretty much as is, and see how far we can go with this thing. And I hope they don't tinker with it too much. I think the challenge is going to keeping quick. Yeah, keeping quickly is going to be I think it's going to be a real challenge. He has to be feeling like, man, if I could just get a spot, man, I can, be a top
quickly is just a few moves away from being Tyrese Maxey. They got the same kind of game.
Yeah, they
Obviously,
do.
a
And ironic.
little
Yeah.
stronger,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. And ironically, they played together at
right,
Kentucky.
exactly.
You know, they got the
Very,
same hair, everything. You know,
yeah, yeah, right, exactly.
they both look like
Same
they could
lotion,
be. Yeah,
same lotion.
everything. I was like, man, what's up? These guys look like they could be musicians, man. Definitely. I'm like, musicians are basketball players. But anyway, but it's cool. They ball. They ball, man. You know, there's another one, the Terrence Mann, who used to play for my friend. You know, I got a
Yeah,
really good friend who was the head, my good friend, Leonard Hamilton. He's the head coach for Florida State.
I know Leonard.
And
Great. You know Leonard?
yes, I know Leonard. You know Leonard?
Coach Leonard. I
You
saw,
know
I
Leonard?
saw him last week, 2 weeks ago in Tallahassee.
Because of Kyle
Yes,
Rhino, right?
through Kyle. Right, that's right. That's
Through
right.
Kyle.
I did a get down
You
there.
know, that's great. Now you're talking about music and sports. You know how
Yeah,
I met Coach is I was being managed by a man named Ed Arendelle who handles Quentin Marsalis.
right.
And we worked together for about 5 years. All I was doing the publishing thing, right? So he called me one day and said, "Man, there's somebody I want you to meet, man." And it was Coach. I said, "Okay, well, all right. Was this just because he knows I'm a sports fan?" No, Leonard Hamilton Jr. is a killer musician.
What?
Killer,
Didn't hear about that.
killer. All right, and he disappeared. He
Oh,
he was making an attempt, and then he just said, "I'm gonna let it go," and he's doing other things now.
okay.
But Coach and I really, got to be friends, and that's who it was Terrence Mann. I think he plays for the Clippers.
Sure.
And I see these guys. I mean, him, Maxie, Quick, they all look alike. It's like they all got this thing. They all look like musicians.
Yeah, they do.
Like,
They
hey,
do.
what dudes, but they ball. They're baby face killers.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why I mentioned
Does
that.
Quick play an instrument?
I think he does.
I think there's
But
some
I'm
musical.
not. Yeah, I think it comes from. I think his father is a minister or something like that. And I think he might play.
Yeah.
But they all had this certain vibe, But they can go. And Tyler Hero was with those dudes too.
Hero.
So yeah.
Kind
So
of glad he's not. His
oh,
jazz.
I'm really glad he's not playing. So like Tyler, you just stay right over there.
Yeah.
Keep that hand bandaged up.
Y'all just sit over there in the ER.
Hang out until next year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Before you go,
next
I want to ask you about one of my favorite songs from Atlantic Starr is "When Love Calls."
Uh-oh.
That snare sound you got on that record is just amazing. What the? It's round, it's tight, and then you put something. Did you put some kind of something else on top of that, man? What kind of juice you put on that, man? Come on, tell your secret.
Okay. It was something that I thought was going to catch on because at the time people were dead in their drums with all kinds of things, wallets and all kinds of pads and everything, right? Yeah, that was the big thing. You tape a wallet to your snare drum, right? And hope your stick didn't get caught up in your wallet at that time. But there was a new company that came, I think it was called Evans.
Evans, okay.
And what they created, and man, the Evans, they make heads now. For a while, they discontinued that, I believe, because I've never seen it again. They had a woven skin.
Oh.
It's woven.
Really?
Yeah. It looked like cloth.
Huh.
So I was like, give me that. Because I don't have to, worry about putting all of this stuff on my snare. And yeah. Yeah.
So what did you, was it a whack or was it just
I was killing it. I killed that thing. But but the way it recorded as this muted, kind of thing, because that's what was going on at the time. They muted everything at that time. Well, so you're the first and only person that's ever asked me about that.
For real?
Ever. All the years. I just knew all the drummers were gonna say, "Man, what'd you do?" Blah blah blah. Nobody cared. But
every time I heard that song, that snare sound just popped. I don't care what year it is. Even like today, I listen to it. Man, like, yo, that thing is popping, man.
Wow, man, I wanted it louder. But anyway, that's another story. Yes. Oh yeah, man. But it was yellow. It was a yellow head that looked like cloth. Looked like cloth, man. That prevented, I didn't have to use all that stuff. I didn't even have to use any, because they have dampers inside of the snare that back in the day that you could literally twist and make it tighter. I didn't even have to do that. It was just,
I know,
and
man.
I want to do that because they had, because at the time Philadelphia International was really big and they were really muting theirs a lot. I wanted to come up with something comparable, but our own.
Is that
totally
82-ish?
We did that. We actually recorded that in 80.
80. Okay.
Yeah, it was released. Yeah, we recorded in 80, and it was released in 81. But yeah, man, and When Love Calls, that was the song that really put us on the map. And I would say that was the only song that was really done where we were all in the same room as it was being written, except for the melody and lyric. But the groove was done. I remember we were using something called a Prophet 5. We had just gotten one. It cost a lot of money. Wow, Prophet 5 was so expensive, and we finally got one. And James Carmichael had just come in. It was his first day of working with us in our studio in Mount Vernon.
Lionel Richie and
yes, with the Commodores, right? So he finished that, and then he came to White Plains, and then we were renting. We created a rehearsal studio in Mount Vernon on Terrace Avenue. And he came in there first day, and it was so funny, man. He always wore 3-piece suits, the whole bit. He sat down with all of us. We really, all in awe, just kind of wondering, okay, well, how's this going to go? And he said, okay. And the first thing we noticed that it was calm. All our sessions prior to that,
jittery, yeah.
But this one, he was all about, okay, gentlemen. All right, and we're just having a little conversation. So David goes to this Prophet 5 and hits
wow.
And I remember this put a groove to it.
It was a nice, soft, round, brassy patch. I remember
it was really nice, but the bass line in that thing is there's an overtone in there.
Yeah.
Right? And that set it off. And James was like, all right now, gentlemen. Now let's begin.
It was like jazz and funk. It was some early groove, man. Early Quincy.
Yeah. Thank you. And I always felt it was Rufus and Chaka Khan-ish.
Yes.
That whole thing. As a matter of fact, when the song was finally put together, Sharon was instantly created. She was immediately created. She was instantly compared to Chaka Khan.
Yeah,
because of that song.
I can hear that. Yeah.
Wayne Lewis did a great lyric.
Did you ever meet Herb Alpert, the workshop A&M?
Oh yeah. We had to audition for him, and we auditioned for him.
Wow.
Yes, right in the heart of Hollywood, Sunset and La Brea, on the lot. He bought a movie lot. That's where A&M was. And I mean, on that lot, Quincy Jones had an office there. He was on the label. I remember seeing Karen Carpenter walking around, and everybody. I see Johnny Mathis around, and everybody.
Sergio Mendes.
Yeah, Sergio Mendes. Well, that was the reason why I wanted to be on the label.
Oh my God.
Sergio Mendes. Oh yeah, my sister handed me Mashkinata when I was a kid, and it changed my life.
Yeah,
changed my life. Yeah, I was gone. I wanted to play, I wanted to play with him,
That'd be one of the most musical labels other than Motown that I've ever checked out. I mean, even the R&B stuff was just so hip and cool. Even the Carpenters had a thing.
Man.
The girl who played drum. Karen, right?
Yeah, she could go. She could go. I mean, I remember I was telling somebody the other day. I said, Styx, the rock band Styx was there, man. I remember seeing them walk across the lot one day, and they looked like they were glowing. It was I was like, wow, that's a rock band. That's a real. And Peter Frampton was there.
Was Styx on A&M?
Styx was on A&M. Peter Frampton comes alive.
Gino Vanelli too.
Gino Vanelli was there. I saw him make I Just Want to Stop. I saw him make that video. Clifford Archer and I, we were standing on ladders and watching him do this thing. And I kid you not, there were 3 background singers, and the girls put their hands out like, stop, right? And he said, whoa, no, bring your hands down. We're not doing the Supremes. Stop in the name of love. He was so detail oriented,
Wow.
And he was really nice. He was a nice guy. So we were allowed to go in a lot of people's sessions and all of that. It was like being on a playground, man. Like, when you see movie theater, like backlots and movie theaters,
Yeah.
like Paramount and all. That's what it was like. It was like old Hollywood. It was Charlie
Nice.
Chaplin's old
Nice.
studio where they made the Keystone Cops and
Sure.
all of that. It was Charlie Chaplin's lot. That's it. And it had all of the offices upstairs and blah, blah, blah. It was a special place. It was real Hollywood. Real Hollywood,
But it was a very musical label, and then you had Jerry Moss, who's the
business guy,
the brains behind the label, I guess. Right? Yeah, just very resourceful label. One of my favorite labels of all time, man.
Oh yeah, man. That it was. I can't believe we spent there. We were there 8 years, and
wow.
I loved being there. And the people they brought in. Gerald Busby was our guy.
Wow.
So yeah, Gerald Busby really talking about Love Calls. He's the one who broke When Love Calls.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's great stuff.
And then yeah. So it was special. And then he went on and went to MCA and broke. With Bobby Brown and the New Edition and all of that. But he was with us first. And so yeah, there were countless people that we were that were brought into our little circle that really helped. There was Jeffrey Osborne was with LTD at the time. They were on the label. Yeah. I was talking with Jeffrey one time. He said, "Man, when we came on the label, he said, man, I got to go solo."
And he did.
See, he didn't do too bad, did he?
I don't think that hurt him at all.
It didn't hurt him at all. Yeah, we toured with him.
Let me get George Duke produce my first record. I'll be good.
Yeah. He said George Duke was the first person that ever. He said George Duke was the first person that ever told him what to sing, like based on chords. And everybody else would say, "Well, go in there and sing. You great." He said, "No." George would say, "No, hit this. How you used to do with me." It's like, no, you can't hit that note. You got to go. You got to be inside that chord there, man.
We're singing no B over C major, C minor. Cut your lip.
To stop you on a dime. Yeah. Guys like you guys, wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. I always felt like those years was like I never went to college, but it was like going to Harvard. Between James Carmichael and being at A&M, when Quincy and all them around was my Harvard.
Hey man, that's the hell of a foundation to build your career on, man. That experience right there. And then taking it locally into Minot and White Plains. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. One of our dear friends is Michael Kalina, man. Michael's a genius. It's like, what is he working with? David, work with David Sanborn and all these people, man. Bob James, Marcus Miller. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot I think you mentioned Kirk Whalum.
Yes.
I remember when Kirk Whalum came to White Plains, because Bob James found him and brought him in. And it was like, who's this guy? It was like,
he opened up for Bob in Houston, I think, in Texas. It was opening act. And that's how
Bob found him? Oh.
And Kirk is cousins to Van East Thomas.
Right. That's right. The great Van East Thomas.
Yeah,
man.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. With, Rufus Thomas and all of that,
Yeah.
Funky Chicken.
Yep. So that's once again, White Plains, man. Minot was doing
all connected.
Kirk Whalum doing his demo with James in White Plains.
Yeah. So I saw him doing it. I was like, "Whoa, man, who's this dude?" And then the rest is history because that's a typical thing, right? Absolutely. Yeah, it was great, man. And young artists like yourself coming through, it was just like, wow, your head had to be on a swivel. It was like, who's this?
Oh my God.
This? One person's greater than the next one, It's great.
To have an iPhone back then would have been it, man.
Mm-hmm.
To have an iPhone back.
Right? Yeah, man. And then, here we go again, going back to, artists who love the Knicks.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is how we roll. Sometimes outside are more deeper than the actual ball game.
Absolutely,
brother. Always good to see you, my man. And we'll catch up. Hopefully, next time I see you, the Knicks will be 3-1, at least 2-2.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we're looking for, 2-2. I'll see you.
We'll catch up before we hit the Garden again.
Absolutely.
All right.
All the best, man. Be well.
I love you.
Peace.
Peace.